Oh, recording in progress. Okay.
Right.
Oh, God damn it.
Feature.
I think she put pants on.
Okay.
Okay.
Continue. Boom. All right, I'm ready. Hi, guys.
Hi. Welcome, everybody, to the virtual meeting of Selvi and Mimi of their amazing publication of Naked, the Honest Musing of Two Brown Girls. So this is going to be like a very informal interview with the two of you ladies. So feel free to take as long as you need for these interesting questions. I might just pull up because it's on the spot. So shall we begin?
Yeah.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So what I actually want to know is, thanks to these two ladies, they gave me a pre-copy of their amazing book. What I did was I read through it and I came up with so many questions because it was intriguing. So knowing you guys from Calvin, I met them in Calvin. I want to know, when did you guys discover poetry?
Well, shit, I don't know. I've been writing for forever, so I can't say that there's a specific place I discovered it, but I intentionally started wanting to create a collection of poems maybe when I was like 17. And so I had just like actually started like writing them down in a place that I could find until I ran into Selvi.
Because you always lose everything. So where was that place?
Google Docs, mother.
Got it. Okay, Selvi. What about you?
I think I first discovered poetry or discovered that I liked it in high school when we were reading Maya Angelou in class. But I didn't really start writing until college. And at first it was just in my notes app on my phone. And then I was like, this is not sustainable. So I moved it to I moved it to a Word doc, and then my computer's crashing. So then I moved it to a Google Doc.
Okay. Selvi mentioned Maya Angelou. Is there other poets you guys admired while you was growing up?
No, I can't say that I used to, which is what I liked. I liked that I didn't have like a heavy poetry influence on my work. So I was fine being sort of in the dark as to what other poets were out there.
Yeah, I don't think I would have started writing poetry had I not read poetry that I could connect with. So like I said, Maya Angelou was really my first introduction. And then in college, we read Naomi Shihab Nye, and I still go back and read her work. And also Fatima Asghar. She's amazing.
She's amazing. Did I read that first and then send it to you, Selvi, or was it the other way around?
I feel like you sent it to me.
Yeah, she's great too. We love her.
And just a PSA, my favorite poets are these two because I don't read poems. I actually really like their poems. The only poem I've been exposed to that I know is Wale, but he's a rapper. But I think his words are poetry.
Rap is poetry, bro.
Exactly,
rap is poetry.
Exactly. Well, damn, I've been exposed, but you guys still be my top favorite.
You know what? Now that you say that, I take it back. Yes, I listened to a lot of poetry growing up. I just didn't read it.
Yeah.
Super cool. Okay. Can you share with us the origin of this Naked collection that you guys created and how you guys combined both of your guys' different experience and identity into one amazing part 1, part 2, part 3 poem book?
I like to say, I mean, the origin story is kind of all over the place. I'd say we both got each other's collections of poems and then swapped so that we read each other's stuff.
Which took a lot of trust, by the way. So
yeah, which I also think is partly why I was drawn to the title Naked, because having someone else read your poetry is puts you in a very vulnerable state. And then Selvi's always well, see, damn, bitch, I see why you got daddy issues. And I'm yes, it's very evident in my poetry, but whatever. So that sort of thing where it's just it was a very vulnerable space, and I enjoyed that process. So even though there is a poem in there called Naked that I think we decided was a good title for the book, for me it represented all the other stuff that came along with the journey too.
Yeah. In my memory, I approached Mimi with the idea. That's how I remember it. But I don't know if that actually happened.
Bad memory, I know. I believe you.
I don't know if that actually happened. Because I was like, because that was senior year. That was already senior year of college. And so like my like Google Doc had grown pretty big. I was like, I want to do something with this. But I was way too scared to show it to anyone else. But I did feel really safe showing it to Mimi. And she also had stuff. And I feel like reading her work, I didn't immediately think, oh, like it blends perfectly with mine. But it made sense that they would go together, the two collections. I think what was also funny in like going through each of our poems was seeing like one really old poem and being,
wow, from like 5 years ago versus from like 2 months ago. Yeah,
we need to delete this. So like, oh, this one is actually still good, but I do not agree with what I was writing then. So
that's super cool.
And I think the way we got it into like the 3
parts.
Yeah. Sort of like Selvi said, I think rather than them being like reflections of each other, they were more like, what's the word? They complemented each other.
Yes, yeah.
And so we were just sort of like, what are the general broad themes that we write about? And then of course, like one of them was like, for lack of a better term, like origin stories, like how we identify in the world.
Yeah.
Basically identity was like a large theme we saw throughout both of ours. And then a lot of like,
romance,
hearty, and then another bucket that was mostly not miscellaneous per se, but just like everything that sort of embodied aspirations for the future and other things that we might like to do.
And that was also how I had my Google Doc organized.
Oh, is it? I actually didn't know that.
She's queen of organization.
Yeah.
So the next question I have is, how did you come up with the titles of your books? Of your poems. So, for example, one of them is like We Birds or Pride Rock or Back Up. Therapy, Doctor. So I'm just curious about how you came up with these titles, and it expressed so many different things when I read it, and then it connected to the ending of the poem or the stanza. So please share with us.
Yes, Sylvie, how did you come up with your titles?
Well, for Back Up, that was a poem I had written and sent to Mimi, I think after we had already curated everything, and I was like, we should add this. And I had titled it Back Up, and Mimi said, no, we should title it Back the Fuck Up. So that's an example of our teamwork. One of the other ones in there was Pride Rock. That one was mine. And that's like about like my mother's pride in me. And I think, so obviously when I was writing that poem, I was like thinking about pride, but then also like my mother is very strong, and like, so I felt like Pride Rock kind of made sense. And I kind of like to give poems like that reference something else. So like Pride Rock is like a thing that exists in line. So it just kind of worked out. I don't really spend too much time thinking about titles. It's just like,
same. I would say there's no rhyme or reason to how I name something. I'm just like, this
wow.
And so
so even like the silver one, I was like, okay. And then I read the end of it. I was like, wow, that was like the connection of that. I don't know if you remember which one I'm talking.
Yeah.
I thought it was super cool. Or Crack. Like, I was just like, wow, like these titles are just, I don't know. I was excited about the titles. So.
Thank you. Hopefully you are joining a very long line of people that are excited about them.
Yeah. Yes. So you guys talked about writing your poems at an early age. What is the first poem you wrote? Do you remember that?
I do.
Okay.
In 8th grade, I don't know if we were doing like a poetry project, or no, maybe it was 7th grade. I think it was 7th grade. And we had to write poems. I wrote a poem about popcorn and popcorn getting stuck in my braces. That was really a prideful moment for me. Also, I wrote an ode to Tuesday, which is kind of funny because Mimi has a poem about Tuesday.
That's so funny.
Yeah, but mine was not good. It was like, it smells like pencil shavings and coffee or something. I don't know. But not poems I want to bring back to life.
So Selvi mentioned about how your teamwork, how you guys worked as a team. I really want to know, can you guys elaborate more about the teamwork? Like, did you guys ever touch anybody else's poem and just like edit it, or like how did it work and how did you guys organize it? Like you said, it complemented each other, but I really want to know the teamwork. Did you guys work together, Zoom calls? Like, how did it work?
So Selvi came to DC a couple of times.
A couple, okay. Who else should sponsor you? What like
the bar that we went to? I think it was Red Bear. We sat in a bar for like hours and
pictures.
We took pictures. Yeah.
Can you share those pictures with us?
Yes, we can. I'll like do a little edit and like have them like pop up on the Zoom next to us. But yeah, I think we were very respectful in like if we wanted to, if there was like, for instance, if Selvi had a poem that I didn't quite understand what was getting at, I'd say we'd just be like, hey, like explain this to us a little bit more, or this is great. I think we should like tweak this last line or like change something. But I don't think we would ever go in and like just like edit each other's poems without like indiscrepancy. I think we would both be either on a Zoom call or like in person at that bar and just like go over poem by poem and see if we liked it and that sort of thing.
That must have been a lot of Google Docs. So
yes.
How long did that take? You said Selvi flew back a couple of times. I know she has to input her side of the story, but how often did you guys like what was the process? Because you guys, I felt like you guys got published immediately, but we don't know the hard work that you put in before you guys got signed. So yeah, dive a little bit deeper into that. People really want to know. I really want to know.
Yes, please take it away, Selvi. Selvi was the brains behind that operation.
No, I would not call myself the brains. I think I actually only went to DC once, maybe twice. I think I went.
Was I in Minnesota one time? Did we do some work when I was in Minnesota one time?
Yeah, that was senior year. Yeah.
Okay, yeah. So I was in Minnesota one time, and then Selvi came to DC one time, and then like a bunch of Zoom calls.
But before that, like when we had first shared each other's work, we like went through as we were reading and either like bold poems that we really liked, or like we had like different colors for like poems we really liked, kind of liked, or like didn't understand. So that was kind of like the very rough like first run. Like these are poems we like definitely want to include. These are ones I want like to hear more about. These ones we could see where they fit, things like that. And then from there, it was just like a couple like really long sessions of like FaceTime where we would be like, okay, like where does this fit? We'd both have Google Docs open and like we'd move things around and like just play with it for a while.
And then came the large Google spreadsheet of all the publishers that we would email and like try find information for. And Selvi was amazing at that. I was a cheerleader supporting. But I can't take credit for a whole lot of what transpired after the creative process.
We eventually heard back from the Black Spring Press Group. A lovely woman named Amira reached out to us, and they were really excited.
Shout out Amira.
We love Amira. She was so excited about publishing our work, and we were thrilled to hear from them. So thank you so much, Black Spring Press Group. We're so excited to continue working with you.
Yes.
So reading your poem collection, there's a lot of poems about animals, and I do not know who wrote those poems, but it's a lot of them is about birds. So maybe the both of you guys wrote about birds, but I really want to know who did what. But the question I really want to ask is, if you could describe your spirit animal, what would it be? Would it really be a bird, guys?
Probably. I haven't thought about that in a while, but probably.
Mimi is the one that's writing about birds.
Okay. It's like,
did you not write a single bird poem?
I don't think so.
It's funny. I didn't realize I wrote about animals a lot.
Birds. Very good, by the way. But it's interesting to see your writing style. Like I kind of feel like I know who wrote what, but sometimes I do not know. So this is a side note. Can you guys tell me who writes the shorter poems and who writes the longer poems? Or is it a mix between both of you guys who do the short ones? And by short,
I think it's a mix. I think all the haikus in there I wrote, so like just the 3-line ones I wrote.
Yeah.
But Selvi has a bunch of like nice like 6 or 7 line poems that are also great.
Did you guys write any poems during the pandemic that is featured?
Not in this.
That's part 2?
Yeah.
Coming?
Yeah. So we signed with Black Spring Press Group like right at the beginning of the pandemic.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah.
So everything like during the pandemic, like we had already sent our final copy and everything. So.
And you didn't want to negotiate to add a few, or it's already perfect and this can come into part 2 of your guys' Naked.
Yeah, I mean, I'd say we were happy with what was there, and I think Selvi kept writing, I kept writing, but I didn't feel the need to get it into like this book.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
yeah, I would say
it won't be the last book.
Yeah, I would just say it feels complete as is, so it didn't feel like we need to add anything.
That's wonderful. That's wonderful. And how long does it take you normally to write, if you wrote any new poems during the pandemic? Like, because I know you wrote some of them in the past, so you can talk about the past one or the new ones you are currently writing.
My dog is drinking water, if you can hear her.
Hi, Lucy.
But it takes me like as long as I want to write, to write a poem. Like if I have something on my mind, I'll like write it down fast. Like I have a little poem notebook, and if it's like close, I'll write it down, and if it's not, I'll write it in my phone. And sometimes I'll like start writing and it's like going really well, and then I just get stuck, so then I just stop writing.
I was writing a song yesterday. I like strum chords. This has nothing to do with your question really, but it gives you an insight into my writing process. I like found a bunch of chords that I liked, and then I was like playing along with the melody. And so I have the chords and the melody down. And then I was like, all right, I need words. And so I had just been like voice memoing like words and the melody as I would like. And I would like hop out of the shower and like grab my phone and like record something like every few seconds or so. And it was a very chaotic shower last night. But all to say, my writing process is all over the place, but I don't like to dwell too long in one poem. Like I just get out whatever's on my mind, and I really don't like revisit them like either a day or two later. I'm like, what I have. It'll be fine.
Yeah, I will revisit mine, but not like a day or two. Like I'll revisit like a month later. Mm-hmm. If it's a day or two, it's too soon. I don't have anything new to add.
Well, I think for me, it's because like the poems, it's really just like, instead of writing in a journal, I'll write a poem. And so I'll just get out whatever I need to get out. And the same way I wouldn't go back to a journal and like edit what I wrote from 2 days ago. I'm just like, this is how I felt. It's on paper now. We're good. That catharsis has ended. We've moved on. And so I really only revisited those poems when Selvi and I decided to like publish them. A lot of them were just going to like stay in the crypt forever, possibly.
So what advice would you give your younger self? Because the first part was, your introduction, your identity. The second part was about your hearts, and the third part was about moments. So I don't know the state of mind you're at right now, but what advice would you have given your younger self as you reflected on the poems you have written in the past?
That's a cute question. I'm gonna let Selvi go first.
I think like for a while, like thinking specifically about poetry and like my younger self with poetry, I would tell my younger self to be more brave. I was really scared to share anything. I was even scared to share with Mimi. So like when I like sent her the doc, I was like, just quick, send it and then don't look. Like I was like really tempted to like change some of the poems or like remove some of the poems, and I'm really glad I didn't. Because I was really scared. Yeah. So I would tell myself that maybe your poems are better than you think they are.
I think for me, I would tweak Selvi's framing a bit and not say that your poems are better than you think they are. I would just say that whatever you were feeling and wrote down is valid. And so like you shouldn't feel the need to like change how you're expressing what you're expressing, because however way you express it, I think is valid. And so, yeah, I would say that to myself. I think I used to worry a lot about like, what's it called? Not identity politics, but just like how you present in the world and how you like frame your thoughts and how you feel about things in a way that's not necessarily palatable for everyone, but in a way that can be like easily detangled and compartmentalized.
Mm-hmm.
And so I would say it's okay to let your expressions be messier than like ideal, because they're valid regardless. Let me think. See, I'm not one to like, whenever people ask this question, I think the subtext in it is like, what would you do differently as your younger self? And I don't think I'd do anything differently.
Mm-hmm.
I'd say that everything that I did or went through made me exactly the person I am today, and I love that person. And so I wouldn't give myself any advice that would like change any outcomes.
Mm-hmm.
So I'd just be like, yeah, be cool.
I would just give myself advice to make my little self a little happier.
I think that the reason I don't like giving my younger self advice is because younger me hated getting advice. And so I know I wouldn't follow it.
Yeah.
I've always been the kind of person that's been like, I appreciate the advice. However, if you want me to learn a lesson, I'm going to have to learn it the hard way. And it's going to be painful for you to watch me learn it the hard way, but that's really the only way I learn lessons. And so I never take advice. And so I don't think younger me would be too happy getting advice from older me. She'd be like, bitch, shut the fuck up. I'll get it when I get there.
That's hysterical. Sure. What is next for the both of you guys? So can you catch us up? What is the next step for you guys in your journey of life? Being that it's May 15, 2001 right now.
2021, but okay.
2021.
I wish it was 2001.
What's next? We have a book coming out.
I'm getting married.
She's getting married.
I'm moving to Ireland.
Moving back to Uganda to be with my husband.
Oh.
Selvi's going to Ireland. I'm going to try visit. And yeah, just lots of chilling. I don't have, like, if you asked me this like 2 years ago, I'd have had a whole like 10-year plan. Right now, I'm just posting. I'm just like, whatever happens, happens.
I'm just trying not to work 40 hours a week.
Amen.
Yeah.
Amen.
Feel that 100%. So, your book is coming out. Are you guys going to have any merchandise that we can buy? A future podcast, an audiobook, you know, that music video that we're talking about? I can be a backup dancer. Let me know. So what is the next thing? When is the release date? If you guys can tell us that, you know, we keep it on the hush hush. But can you guys share that with us?
We don't know when the release.
I have no idea fucking.
It might be this summer.
We're hoping for an early summer release.
Yeah.
Or just a plain summer release.
Yeah.
We can get you merch. We can figure merch out.
The title on a shirt. I want it on a shirt.
Or like my little drawings. So I'm going to have drawings throughout the book. So like I said, I did the cover. And then there's going to be like little illustrations throughout the book. And so I think we could have like some cute t-shirts with like a little drawing and like a little poem. Or like, yeah, you said the title. We'll keep you posted.
We should actually do prints.
Huh?
We should do like prints.
Yeah!
Like the drawing.
Yes. We can also
one of my favorite quote from your book was, God knew we had too much on our plate. She gave us a week off. Like, can we get that on the shirt? Like, people just know, don't fuck with me.
Yes.
Super dope. Oh my goodness. Audiobook? No? Yes?
Ooh. I hadn't thought about that. We have a bunch of readings, like as our book rolls out, we're going to do some, I think, live readings maybe, or just like recorded readings.
Yeah.
But an audiobook sounds cool. I think we should do that.
That would be cool. I don't know how one does an audiobook. If audiobook would like to sponsor us,
honestly, you just post
the link below. There's no link, but please sponsor it.
It's gonna happen.
We don't want a word
into existence. So this is just a random question, but if you can choose a word you want to focus on for the rest of 2021, what would it be?
Rest. R-E-S-T. Rest.
Yeah, I was gonna say tranquility, because that is like, for me, that feels like rest and joy.
Okay.
In tranquility. So.
Amen.
So when you get off this interview, what's the first thing you guys are gonna do to enhance those words you want to do?
Take a nap.
Deep clean. But maybe I'll go buy myself some wine and deep clean.
Yeah.
Hey, that's what's up. So I just got like a couple more questions. And then we can just wrap this up, or we can keep going. I wish there was an audience to tell me what to post, but maybe we can have a second session where we will have a live audience, and
then they can like text in questions.
Yes, and if I'm not fired from this gig, I can ask. Can you guys tell me about your relationship? Because some of the poems in part 2 were just like, damn.
Are you asking about our relationships, as in with our significant others? Like
how do they come into the poems? Because they are in the poems, I think, or it could be past relationships. But some of them are super pretty. Like Tiptoes is about commitment issues. I will say that. Mirage,
our resident Selvi is our resident expert on that.
Mirage was amazing. It was so deep. Again, you can edit this out while I'm doing.
I think it's really cool how Selvi's, so like a lot of the poems, and Selvi can like talk about this more, a lot of the poems that Selvi wrote, especially for that section, I think are like, they follow the journey of like different relationships that she had. Whereas I have been with Jonathan for like, 10, 11 years at this point. So like every poem I wrote has been really either about him or us in some way, shape, or fashion. And so I'm glad Selvi had more color to provide.
Yeah, I don't think any of the poems were about Nate.
He didn't make it in there. Rats.
But I think he did. Was he not in?
Maybe 1 or 2.
Yeah, I think he was.
Yeah, but those were like nice poems. Because like, so like most of these I was writing in college, which is just like a great time for dating. So I was dating lots of people. And I also like didn't have like a very complete understanding of myself. So I was like dating toxic people, or I was being really toxic in those relationships or non-relationships that I was. So
situationships.
Entanglements.
Entanglements. That is actually a pretty apt word for me, I would say. So yeah, there was definitely a lot of good content to come out of those. And it was also like a really good way for me to like express how I was feeling about those entanglements, because it was like, I wasn't like really fighting with those boys that I was seeing, because it was never really very serious. So if I was like feeling really upset, I couldn't like go like have a fight with them. So I would just write it down, and that helped quite a bit.
Yeah. My poems are all about Jonathan. And I don't think he's read a single one, which is funny. Has Nate read any of your poems?
Yeah, Nate read all. Nate had an advanced copy.
Yeah, I forgot that. See, Jonathan hasn't read shit. I'll give him a copy when it's out. I'll make him buy one.
Yeah.
I'll be like, pay X amount of dollars to see how I feel about you. How I felt about you all these past 10 years.
Yeah.
Well, guys, this has been a great interview. Great to get to know you guys in the process of this amazing book that will possibly be released at the beginning of summer. So like, AKA a month or 2 months or 3 months from now. Summer starts officially in June. So is there anything last you want to share with the audience or share with anybody?
Follow our Instagram. Selvi, can you introduce our Instagram?
Our Instagram, you can find us at Brown and Brazen. It is our bookstagram. We post about ourselves. We post some poems, some pictures that we have. Mimi is the graphic designer genius behind all of that. If you have requests for what you would like to see on our page, please DM us. If you would like to sponsor us, please DM us.
If you would like to Venmo us, I will put my Venmo below. Not even just for an advanced copy, just if you want to buy me coffee, please.
Or like if you want to pay for us to go to the UK to do our book tours, or if you want us to pay to come to your state to do a reading, Venmo us.
So really just show us some love.
Just send us money.
On the handles below. I'll put those handles there when they come.
Yeah, you guys said you were going to do some live reading. Can can we expect a live reading within the next 3 weeks from you?
Okay, girl. What kind of reporter are you? We don't conduct diplomacy on Zoom. Out here putting us up to a wall. Okay, you'll get the live reading when you get the live reading.
The people requested. They want me. They brought me here to tell you that we want a live reading.
We will do our best to make that happen as soon as possible. No further comment.
Thank you. All right, everybody. Well, this has been super fun. I hope we can do a part 2, so we can dive deeper with people submitting questions that they want to ask the 2 of you guys. So
should I end the recording?
Thank you, Marisha, our wonderful host.
Thank you for having me and my mic.
Okay, the end.